Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lindsay. Today I'm going to be doing this bright, fun, just spring vibes makeup look. If you're not already subscribed, I would love to have you, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it at any point. But let's go ahead and get started. As I was saying, I'm going to use the Grwm Alchemist primer, which is a primer that has a nice amount of slip to it. It feels like it's silicone based, and I think it just provides a nice smooth base for makeup. So today I literally just wanted to sit down and play with some colors. I have a couple other ideas planned, but I thought springtime is upon us and I just want to do a more bright, colorful look. I feel like I haven't done something like that for a while. I hope you guys enjoy it. Before we do our foundation, I'm going to go ahead and spot conceal with the Milk Makeup Flex Concealer. This isn't my favorite for under the eyes. I'm trying to play around with it a little bit more and see how I like it. I believe this is the shade Cream. I will link it below though. I'm just going to take a sponge and dab that in before we go in with our foundation. For our foundation, I'm taking the Bite Beauty Changemaker. I've been obsessed with this again. Kind of stopped using it for a while, not really sure why, but it just is so beautiful looking on the skin. I use the shade L20. I also use the shade L40 sometimes, depending on how tan I am, and sometimes I mix them. I like this foundation and the Ilia foundation are definitely my go-to like summer foundations. They just last so well, and they're also lightweight enough that if you're outside and you're hot, maybe a little sweaty, they don't feel super cakey on the face. And I do use quite a lot of this foundation. I feel like the coverage depends on how much you use. If you use a light layer, it can be almost like a very light-ish medium coverage. Light medium, not medium light. That doesn't even make sense, does it? Anyway, I'm saying it can be built up to like a nice solid medium if you use a lot of it like I am today. Enough to cover like minor imperfections and redness and my acne scarring, not totally, but it does cancel out a lot of the discoloration. If you do have like maybe rosacea or just something with a little more pigment to it, you might need to go in with a couple layers. It also blends in super quickly. I feel like I can put this foundation on in like not even 2 minutes. Before I conceal, I am going to use a cream contour slash bronzer. This is the Hailey's Beauty Replay Foundation Stick in the shade 4.25. We'll do a quick swatch, which is, it's not super cool tone. It's kind of just that nice in-between bronzer and contour, so get the hair out of the way. I'm gonna do this just in those classic contour areas. I'll do my nose. For my contour, I'm using a Luxie small contouring brush. I really like contouring with cream foundations, especially if you like me, you have like a lot of redness or acne to cover. It just helps to not take away the coverage in that certain area. Like for me, I do get a lot of redness right there, so I don't like when I have a product that picks up the foundation because it just it looks red instead of like a contour. Wow, this blends out really nice. I don't think I've ever used this, honestly. I just saw it in my collection. I've been trying to shop my stash a little bit more. To finish blending, I'm going back in with the sponge I used with the foundation just to make sure everything looks even. I've been liking doing contouring before concealer in case I have to clean anything up. And also I just like to set my concealer immediately after I put it on, so it just helps everything look better. I'm using the Cover FX Power Play Concealer, my go-to. I've also been doing this trick. Not sure where I learned this, but I think it's part of like the fox eye look where you only highlight like the inner and outer corners instead of doing that big triangle. I think it helps to lift the face a little bit more. Using my same sponge once again to blend this in. Next to set my face, I'm going to use the Well People. This is the loose Bio Brightener powder. I just recently saw that Well People is carried at my Target. I was gonna pick something up, but honestly, I don't even know what else to get. If you guys have favorites from the brand, let me know. I've tried their lipstick, this powder. I'm not sure I would like the tinted moisturizer just because I like more coverage, but I almost picked up the lip gloss. I saw they have some new eyeshadow palettes too. Do you guys have like a clean beauty area in your Target? I live in Seattle, so I do have like a bigger Target store that has a whole clean beauty section. They have Pacifica, Well People. I think they have Mineral Fusion now as well. Just using whatever's left for the rest of the perimeter of my face. And for bronzer, I wanted to use the Ilia. This is called their Drawn In Night Light Bronzing Powder. I'm using the Kosas one a lot, so I thought I would give this one some love. I'm just using a Luxie large angled. I used to link all my brushes I use below I think sometimes I forget though. I'll try to do that again. All my favorite tools, I really like Real Techniques, Luxie. I use some Eco tools as well. And ColourPop, I have a brush set from them. Really nice synthetic brushes. Blush, I pulled out the Kosas. This is the Papaya 1972 pressed powdered blush. I'm using the blush side of this. I'm not a huge fan of the highlight. These are really powdery. Like one dip and it goes everywhere. I'm gonna focus this on the back parts of my cheeks. Just for a more lifted look. They are pigmented though. Powdery but pigmented. To add the glow back to the face, I've been really enjoying the Ofra highlighter in Beverly Hills. It has all these different shades. I usually stick to this side, mostly just like the white or this shade. And they're actually light enough on my skin, and hard to describe these. They're really lightweight on the skin. Like they give you a lot of impact, but they're also not chunky where they accentuate texture. Really gorgeous formula. Just putting this on the tops of my cheekbones and this shape right here. You can also make this highlight pretty natural looking if you only use a little bit. You can also build it up so it's metallic, but it's also versatile in my opinion. I'm just gonna do a quick mist of the Pixi Hydrating Milky Mist just to set everything in. Once the mist is almost dry, I like to go back in with my sponge and pat everything in. I feel like it just molds everything together. But I really just can't get over how good the Bite Beauty foundation looks on the skin. If you had textured skin, I totally recommend this foundation. Like it's one of the only foundations I feel like doesn't accentuate or just like cling and get cakey throughout the day. So let's move on to brows. I'm going to use my ColourPop Taupe Brow Pencil. And I've also been using KVD Vegan Beauty because Kat Von D doesn't own it anymore. This is their brow powder in Brow Struck Blonde. This was on sale in Sephora, I think it still is. This has a shimmer through it, which at first I was like, what the heck? But it looks so good in the eyebrows, like it gives dimension to your brows. I have both taupe and blonde. I actually find that blonde works a little bit better. The blonde isn't super warm though, so I just really enjoy the shade of this. So I like to use these two in combination for my brows. I'm gonna go ahead and do that and then we'll be back for the eyeshadow. All right, to get started on these eyes, the vibe I have today is sort of like a sunset, bright corally, maybe like a pop of yellow on the inner corner. So just to lay a base for all of that, I'm gonna take the Ilia Necessary Warm palette, taking this mustardy light brown shade as my transition. I'm just lightly blending that in my crease. It's a very light shade, so a nice like base to blend deeper shades into. And then next I'm gonna dip into this creamsicle shade and build that more into my crease. Just using like a little dome shaped brush for this. And I feel like the key for brighter looks is to start off like lightly and really build your color up. So you don't have to be too precise or anything. Just start off with a little bit and then see how it looks, build from there. You know what I'm saying? Then for another layer of depth, I'm taking this ColourPop single shadow palette that I have. This shade right here, I'm not sure the names of these. Here, I'll check for you guys. This is the shade name Koi, which is sort of like this orangey mustardy shade. I'm laying that on top of the other two shades we put down. Before we move on, I'm just taking that same shade under my lower lash line. Next up, I'm going to take this. I believe this is, I'm not sure if this one is the pressed pigment. It's the shade name Making Moves, but it looks pretty bright. Just this like corally pop of pink. I think this might be the pressed pigment one. It's pretty bright. But anyway, I'm taking that on a smaller tapered brush. And then I'm just gonna start working this into my crease and the outer V of my eye, sort of in like a C shape. I'm not taking this too far in because I want more of that gradient look. I'm just gonna repeat the same thing on this eye. And then to deepen that, I'm taking this even brighter, looks like a red, but really pulls pink on the eye. It's very similar to that other shade, it's just a little bit deeper. And then this is gonna have just the same placement as that other shade. I went ahead and put that same shade on the lower lash line. Now for our lid shade, I'm going to take this metallic, it sort of has like a orangey pinkish shift to it. And the shade name of this one is Heavy Glam, or maybe we'll do this one. Yeah, I'm just gonna use Heavy Glam, the pink shade, on my finger, and I'm gonna pat this on that blank space of the lid. Now for a fun pop of yellow, I used to do a look like this all the time when I was younger, and it kind of just, the time of year reminded me of it. So I wanted to show you guys a recreation of it. I'm going to use the Say Moi Visionary Makeup Crayon. This is the yellow shade, which is very bright. So I'm gonna put this on the inner corner of my eye. I'm just starting with a little bit of this and I'm gonna blend it out with a small brush. And these crayons can be like a little bit chunky to work with, if that makes sense. They're just a drier formula. So when you have to use a brush, like a small area like that, it can be a little bit difficult, but if you just work them in, usually they will cooperate. The layer on top of that, I'm taking another ColourPop shade, this bright yellow, which is called Tiki. I'm just packing that over the crayon that we laid down. There's the inner corner. You could really use any color felt eyeshadow that you wanted to in the inner corner. I would stick to like more brighter colors, like orange, yellow like I have. You could do a neon, you could do like a green, that would be really cool. But anyway, let's move on. I'm going to do a liner with this. So I'm going to do a wing just using my Physicians Formula Eye Booster. I really like doing a black wing liner with more bright looks. I feel like the contrast is really cool. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and do that and we'll move on to lashes. Liner is done. For our lashes, I'm just going to use Ardell Wispies, a classic. So I will pop these on and I'm also going to layer the Ilia mascara. Guys, for lips, I want to keep it pretty neutral, so I'm going to use the Kosas Vegas lipstick and then I'm going to use a gloss on top as well. I didn't like this shade at first, but I think it's growing on me. For gloss, I'm taking the Persona. This is called their Honey Gloss. Guys, that's gonna complete our look here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you, but thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video.